How's it going? It's Matt Mar here. Here to one in the chat if you could be able to hear me. I don't know why this keeps setting up two different things on whenever I log in to do this. I don't know why it's doing that. But I want to welcome you to the actual stream here. This is politics, speaking politics, November 23rd of 2025. We're going to go through some of the actual things that happen in society here within this actual live stream. Let me drop the actual link for the guests to come on, Mike V and Nagone 11. All right. All right. Our first story comes from the Texas Tribune. Share screen. Oh, I see what the problem is. For some reason, I can't even chat inside of the actual chat. Everything I put in the chat, it actually blocks. So now I'm gonna have to go to. Now I see what Mike B was saying that I didn't drop the link at all. Okay, all right, now it makes sense now. Okay, let me go to the. Okay, because apparently everything I type in StreamYard, it doesn't even register at all. But whenever I go into the control room and chat there, it actually places it in the actual live stream itself. So there's a link at the top for the people who are supposed to actually join. Everything that I type in StreamYard, it actually. Oh, it came through the first time? Like on my end, it shows an error occurred. This stream, okay, was deleted. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to go to the Chicago or Texas Tribune for the very first thing here. Now, this is their fault that this failed. Okay. All right. So what happened was Texas, by the behest of the president, decided that they were going to redraw maps in the middle of the actual political season. So that way the conservatives could maintain control of the House of Representatives. Okay. So you have to understand that when Texas did this on the behest of the president, they decided to actually steal seats from everyone in the country when they did this, correct? So you have to understand that you just can't take seats from the legislature on the behest of the president so that way you can maintain power in the House because you're going to lose. That's not how redistricting works. Redistricting normally happens after the actual census, or there are some other times where it does happen. It doesn't happen from the behest of the president. And another thing that Texas had a problem with was that Texas went to the actual Texas legislature in order to make this pass and this change. They didn't put it up for a vote like California did to kind of alter to put it on the ballot as a ballot initiative for them to vote on. Because if Texas had done that, if Texas literally have done that, they would have got major pushback from Austin, San Antonio, Dallas, Austin. They would have came out and been vitally against it. You have to understand that Texas have some of the best highways in the actual country, right? And that's not because of the Texas legislature. That is because of federal money coming into Texas from those liberal people who actually who actually get elected to Congress within those areas. So when you decide in the middle of the legislature that you're just going to be able to take those seats away, you're actually taking seats away from everybody in the actual country. Everyone in the actual country. And there's really no real need for that. If you can't win the normal type of way, then something's wrong. You don't need to take seats away because you can't win in an actual election. And yes, the elections have consequences. People ducked behind. They actually went to, and they didn't tell the pollsters this. They told the pollsters something else, and then they went and had these people be elected president. And you have to understand, it wasn't because of the economy, because the economy was doing far better than it was right now. It wasn't because of the war in Ukraine, because the war in Ukraine is going on right now. It wasn't because of the actual Israeli Palestinian situation, because that stuff is keep going right now. So all of the reasons why these people wanted Trump to be president, all of those reasons has nothing to do with why that dude's president. Yes, you are correct, BA. They cannot win on policy. They don't have a winning policy proposal. Where's the winning policy proposal for getting rid of USAID? Where's the winning policy proposal of completely destroying the transportation industry or fracturing it and reorganizing it by getting rid of or even changing the actual tariffs on a whole bunch of countries, including your allies? So all of these things happened, and he's not being held to any type of account for it, right? No type of account for it. What's going on to go?
Hey, what's going on, MOT? What's up?
Yeah, and it's like, okay, so why is this dude president? All the reasons that they claimed that he was president for, he's not even doing any of those things. And he can't hold on to power because of his bad policies, so now he wants to have state legislatures in the middle of a session change the actual House of Representatives for 2026. Dude, this is unprecedented. Unprecedented. What's your comments on that?
This is absolutely unprecedented, and the fact that they have very little say. They want to try to cheat their way into it. That looks like that may actually get cut back with respect to what the courts have kind of been ruling. So these guys are in a pretty tough place at this stage. And as the economy starts to fade, as we're starting to see right now, things are going to look a little bit worse for these guys. So I don't see much on the up and up coming up right now for this administration and this man. Even though he's becoming more lame duck, he's trying to gain more power.
I mean, but normally when you do something of this magnitude, you have to be very secretive about it. You can't just come up, make an announcement, everybody makes the changes, right? Like that's not the way things work.
Well, he's not trying to work things, in their in their classical way. He's really trying to run roughshod. He's really trying to run roughshod. He's trying to run like he is, some super powerful dictator, but yet he's not. He's not as popular. Dictators tend in the in their earliest times to be very successful because they were very well liked, and then they were looked upon fairly highly. But that's not what's happening with these people. So there's a lot of issues coming down. Um, you know, BA is saying he's no lame duck. Yeah, he may lose. Usually, as we see classically here in the United States, with each president, as they go into their second term, the Congress changes underneath them. They tend to be fairly lame after that. He's certainly moving more towards that, but yet he's trying to gain a lot more power through the courts and so forth. as we see, to say, hey, listen, this guy is, this guy's still super viable. He's moving with his, um, how would you say, his executive orders and so forth. So, yeah, he's trying to stay very powerful as he moves towards that lame duck piece, and that's kind of what I was alluding to. Anyway, go ahead, MOT.
All right. So the next story is obviously Marjorie Taylor Greene announcing her resignation from Congress. Um, I don't care what the actual issue or reason for that being. There is no higher political office for Marjorie Taylor Greene. I'm
None,
sorry, none,
none,
absolutely none.
none.
She won't win a Senate race against Warnock or Ossoff. She won't win an actual governorship for anybody in the actual state of actual Georgia.
And
I
she's not
think.
going to be president. And she's not going to be
Oh
president.
no, of course not. I mean, if they couldn't have the actual governor of South Carolina, Nikki Haley, win an actual prime. Actually, I think Nikki Haley would have an excellent shot of winning a primary with Trump not being in there. But I don't think she's running again either. I don't think so.
That Trump's going to run again. He's not going to have the health for it. There's no way he's
No,
going to
no,
have it.
no, 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 no. We're talking about Nikki Haley,
Oh,
not
Haley.
Trump.
Oh, I'm
We
sorry.
know he can't. We know he can't run, but I don't think Nikki Haley can actually. I mean, she's a good voice to be out there, but I think her quiet mouth and wanting to be a part of the administration, but then it really hurt everyone's chances within the Republican Party at this point. The only people who can come back and really kind of salvage things is somebody from the Bush family to try to come take it back.
Well, that's which is kind of interesting because people have been saying why Bush has been quiet and hasn't said a whole lot. That these guys has been planning to come back to take over the party. This is this is their come back, make that move behind the scene type of deal and sweep these Trumpers out of here. Is it a realistic move? Are these guys really able to come back? I don't know. That will be interesting. But Bush coming back, and it wasn't like Bush left with the best of reputations.
Oh no.
you know, you know, he didn't. He, he didn't. He didn't leave out of here with the best of reps, and these guys have a lot of rebuilding to do, and they've done an awful lot of damage between those two. Between the Trump and the Bush regimes. I don't see that happening, but let's then again, it's hard to say who knows what can happen out here. But I think the key thing here is that people are planning to see how things are going to move post Trump, and that's what people are kind of lining up for right now.
Yeah, I just don't see it happening. What's going on, Renaissance? What's going on, man?
Hey, what's
Any
up, guys?
comments?
RM, what's up?
Any
Yeah,
comments on this?
yeah. No, I posted a link if you want to actually go through the video she posted.
Yes, her resignation statement, so that way you can
Yeah,
hear because there's a big battle axe in the actual in the peanut here.
yeah.
But let's hear her actual statement because whenever I hear a statement, it's clear as this is. I can't stand it. And shout out to Twitter for actually posting this. I mean, Twitter was the one who showed Charlie Kirk getting his dome blown out. So
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. I don't think she has a chance at. So the rumblings today that have come out is that she's looking at running for president. I don't.
no.
Yeah,
She can run for president. I mean, anybody can run for
yeah. Anybody
president,
can
but
run. Yeah,
whether
Cornel
your
West
ass
can
is
run for
gonna
president.
win is another thing
Jill Stein
altogether.
can run for president. So,
Yeah. So
um,
let's look at Blondie here. Give us her actual statement.
Has represented the common American man and woman as a member of the House of Representatives, which is why I've always been despised in Washington, D.C., and just never fit in. Americans are used by the political industrial complex of both political parties, election cycle after election cycle, in
Both
order
sides.
to elect whichever side can convince Americans to hate the other side more. And the results are always the same. No matter which way the political pendulum swings, Republican or Democrat, nothing ever gets better for the common American man or woman. The debt goes higher, corporate and global interests remain Washington's sweethearts, American jobs continue to be replaced, whether it's by illegal labor or legal labor by visas or just shipped overseas. Small businesses continue to be swallowed by big corporations.
Okay, let's stop right here. Okay. The Bush administration incentivized companies to outsource American jobs at the end of their presidency. That's how come we was losing 2, 3, 400, 500,000 jobs a month, because they were incentivized by the United States government to outsource their jobs. So you can't claim that this both sides thing. Both sides wasn't doing that. Both sides are not talking about free market capitalism. Both sides are not talking about that. One side is talking about that. One side. So I don't get what she's talking about both sides and the political divide. I'm like, lady, listen, you were a staunch supporter of what's going on right now until it bit you in the ass. And now she's trying to step away from it before these actual Epstein files go out. That's going to eventually take down the entire party. So Bush can have an easier time coming in with these actual centrist Democrats who I do not trust, and these middle of the roaders and these actual Republicans, these third way people. I don't trust those people either. So they're gone thus far.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed, man. Gee.
Yeah, I mean, Democrats I don't trust. I don't trust middle of the roaders. I don't trust Reagan Democrats. I don't trust these centristy BS artists. Like I don't like the Bulwark. I don't like any of these new allies since Trump. They're just waiting for a centrist Republican Party to return, and then they're just going to be right back over there, stabbing your ass in the back like they've always have been doing before that. And I don't think they've changed, nor have they learned a lesson. Oh, hold on a second. Mike's back there. What's going on, Mike? Okay, well, we're waiting on Mike to get his microphone situation
Yo, what's
figured
going
out.
on, man?
What's going on, man? So, what do you think about this Marjorie Taylor Greene statement so far before we play the rest of it?
Well, I mean, it's right on the money in terms of what she had intended to do. There was no way that she was going to be able to, sign on to releasing those Epstein files that may indict her fellow leader and still be a part of the same Congress. It just wasn't going to happen. So her stepping off is actually working in Democrats' favor because it gives Republicans one less body in the House.
Yes, and one less vote to actually release the actual files as well.
Well, the other thing is too, you got to remember, she could have retired. She resigned. So
Yeah.
like retiring, she would have just basically said, "Hey, I'm just riding my term out and be done with it and not seek re-election." So I'd be done basically a year from now. So I did listen to, I think it was from Michael Singleton. He said that he thought her political career was over. He thought that she may be trying to pivot into like podcast or, some of this alternative media political commentary that's going on.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of money to be made at this podcasting thing.
Oh, sure.
Will Marjorie, if she comes out there and runs a podcast, and what kind of people will be throwing some money at her on that, she'll get money. She'll get some dough. There's no question about that. She's already, pretty much, going to get her, I don't know, the pension or whatever, she gets from the, from being a congressperson for the amount of time that she's been. So she's got that already set. So the podcasting thing looks pretty strong to me, as far as her, as we said before earlier, being governor or being senator. which is marginally possible, but I don't think she's going to
completely out of the question.
I don't think that.
I don't think it's completely outside of the question, MLT.
No. Her winning, not her running. Her running is fine.
Keep in mind, Sarah Huckabee Sanders was also in the Trump administration and ran for governor and won. So I don't know if that's totally outside of the realm for her.
Well,
I mean, but that's the first Trump administration. Like what we got going on now, she's gonna get elected the head of Georgia, and win.
I mean, stranger things have happened the last few cycles. So I don't necessarily put her outside of the realm of potentially winning by one vote or something crazy like that. So these things are happening. These things are happening across the country.
Well, let's just say, given what's going on right now, that looks like a bit of a long shot as far as the presidency is concerned as well. That doesn't look like that's even in the realm of possibility. Women have not been doing well running for president, or getting the shots at it. And I don't know if the country is going to move that way. And certainly for a Marjorie Taylor Greene, no. But looking at these other options, are possibilities. Probabilities, I would say, are certainly looking more like she'd be losing fairly badly as well.
Yeah, I get it. Wow. So let's keep going with this speech.
Americans' hard-earned tax dollars always fund foreign wars, foreign aid, and foreign interest, and the spending power of the dollar continues to decline. The average American family can no longer survive on a single breadwinner's income, as both parents have to work in order to simply survive.
Lady, this just didn't happen in the 4 years ago. This was the same thing since the 1960s. Like, you can't just both sides your way through this. All right, come on.
And today, many in my children's generation feel hopeless for their future and don't think they will ever realize the American dream. And that breaks my heart. I ran for Congress in 2020 and have fought every single day believing that Make America Great Again meant America first. I have one of the most conservative voting records in Congress, defending the First Amendment, Second Amendment, unborn babies, because I believe God creates life at conception, and I love to fight for the little guy. Strong, safe borders, I have fought hard for that. I've fought against COVID tyrannical insanity and mandated mass vaccinations, and I've never voted to fund foreign wars with your hard-earned tax dollars. However, with almost 1 year into our majority, the legislature has been mostly sidelined. We endured an 8-week shutdown, wrongly, resulting in the House not working for the entire time, and we are entering campaign season, which means all courage leaves and only safe campaign re-election mode is turned on in the House of Representatives. During the longest shutdown in our nation's history, I raged against my own speaker and my own party for refusing to proactively work diligently to pass a plan to save Americans' health care and protect Americans from outrageous, overpriced, and unaffordable health insurance policies. The House should have been in session working every day to fix this disaster. But instead, America was force-fed disgusting political drama once again from both sides of the aisle.
Girl, you was doing all of this stuff. What is this both sides stuff to which she speaks? I don't get it. Go.
Really, the reality is, when I was first looking at this was kind of her move to kind of separate herself a little bit from what's going on in the administration, her political base, and so forth. Some other issues too. She was very nervous about getting killed. Talking about after going against Trump, she said she feared for her life. So she literally spoke on that issue as well. So as to why she's retreating. It seems like a lot of people who go against Trump, don't seem to want to stay around a long time, and she's jumping off that ship. What else is going on the inside internally? It might be some other questions. I definitely feel she's definitely looking to make some other moves, and that would be podcasting and so forth. Once again, as I said, I don't believe, that she's going to be potentially seeking any other higher office. The presidency, I don't see. Once again, I don't want to go through that, but there's some different moves that she's making here. She definitely wants to put some distance between her and the Trump administration. That's pretty clear, Mike, given her base. All right, go ahead.
Mike.
Yeah, I mean, she completed all of her, her legislative goals. For the lack of better description, I mean, there's nothing left to do in Congress at this point. They're not governing anyways, and everything's being done through EOs. So what else is there to do? If you're going to be up there, I don't see any reason to stay in Washington. I think that taking a step back and actually looking at what's going to happen between now and 2028 is probably a good option. She could potentially be a surrogate for disaffected right wingers and whatnot, or these libertarians and these independents. She may be trying to galvanize a completely new base of voters that came from that side, and so. I don't know. I don't see this as a bad thing for her. I see this as actually a good thing. Is she's going to make more money off of selling a potential book, for that matter, and doing guest appearances everywhere.
Yeah, she didn't want to get kirked, but hey, look, she was okay with political violence until it was directed toward her. It was okay. It was not above board, nothing. When Donald Trump called for the which is going to be a later story of a video of telling the troops not to actually obey illegal orders, somehow this became an actual issue. And it was not an issue when Trump was calling for people to be locked up and killed and all that kind of stuff. It seemed to be okay.
Yeah,
but to her, it's both sides. It's both sides.
Yeah, she was on board with all that. Yeah, she was. Now all of a sudden, okay. Yeah. When she saw the barrels pointed towards her, things got different.
Yeah. Whenever you hear a Republican talk about both sides, they're talking about exclusively the Republican Party. So let's keep going.
On television every single day. My bills, which reflect many of President Trump's executive orders, like calling for a new census counting Americans only to draw new districts, making English the official...
That's not how the census works. That's never been how the census has ever worked.
official language of the U.S., making it a felony to medically trans a minor, and other bills like eliminating capital gains taxes on the sale of your primary home and eliminating H-1B visas. Just sit. They all sit collecting dust. That's how it is for most members of Congress bills. The Speaker never brings them to the floor for a vote. Many common Americans are no longer easily convinced by paid political propaganda spokespersons and consultants on TV and paid shills on social media, obediently serving with cult-like conviction to force others to swallow the political party talking.
Yeah, from the Republican Party that you're a part of, that you're resigning from.
Points. Because they know how much credit card debt they have. They know how much their bills have gone up over the past 5 years. They actually do their own grocery shopping and no food costs too much. Their rent has increasingly gone up and up. They have been outbid by corporate asset managers too many times when they put in an offer to buy a house. They have been laid off after being forced to train their visa holding replacement. The college degree they were told to earn only left them in debt with no big six-figure salary. They see more homeless people than ever on their own community streets. They can't afford health insurance or practically any insurance, and they just aren't stupid. These are the people I represent and love because that is who all of my family and friends are, common Americans. I've been blessed to represent the 14th District of Georgia for 5 years. The district is filled with some of the most wonderful, kind-hearted, God-fearing, patriotic, hardworking people you will ever meet. Good, regular, common Americans. I've worked hard to bring taxpayer dollars back home to help district needs. I impeached Biden's Secretary of Homeland after watching my constituents die as he facilitated dangerous open border invasion into America. And I led the effort to defund hard left politically biased NPR and PBS and the corrupt USAID, and I did that as chair of the DOJ subcommittee.
Listen to this
I have
shit.
fought harder than almost any other elected Republican to elect Donald Trump and Republicans to power. I traveled the country for years. I spent millions of my own money. I missed precious time with my family that I can
Spent
never
millions?
get back. And I showed up in places like outside the New York courthouse in Collect Pond Park against a raging leftist mob as Trump faced Democrat lawfare. Meanwhile, most of the establishment Republicans who secretly hate him
That's you.
and who stabbed him in the back and never defended him against anything have all been welcomed in right after the election. And I will never forget the day I had to leave my mother's side as my father had brain surgery to remove cancerous tumors in order to fly to Washington, D.C. to defend President Trump and vote no against the Democrats' second impeachment in 2021. My poor father and my poor mother, it was way too much for all of us. Through it all, I never changed or went back on my campaign promises and only disagreed in a few areas, like my stance against H-1Bs replacing American jobs, AI state moratoriums, debt for life 50-year mortgage scams, standing strongly against all involvement in foreign wars, and demanding the release of the Epstein files. Other than that, my voting record has been solidly with my party and the president. Loyalty should be a two-way street, and we should be able to vote our conscience and represent our district's interests because our job title is literally representative. America first should mean America first and only Americans first, with no other foreign country ever being attached to America first in our halls of government. Standing up for American women who were raped at 14 years old, trafficked and used by rich, powerful men should not result in me being called a traitor and threatened by the President of the United States, whom I fought for. However, while yes, hurtful, my heart remains filled with joy, my life is filled with happiness, and my true convictions remain unchanged because my self-worth is not defined by a man, but instead by God who created everything in existence. You see, I have never valued power, titles, or attention in spite of all the wrong assumptions about me. I do not cling to those.
But you're doing this for attention. You went on The View for attention. You just didn't say you was resigning. You made a whole video about it. What is this video about on Twitter if it ain't for attention? What is going on here?
The other thing too, like she seems surprised that like Trump would defend and protect the Epstein files when like this dude has literally been convicted of rape in court and found civilly like all of this reeks of like your typical black Republican or Republican in general. It's not a problem till it affects me. And then, you know, it's this whole list of grievances and it's just like, yeah, where were you when all this was going on? Like she was saying she was against foreign wars. Like, I don't remember her speaking out against Trump striking Iran.
What about Trump striking these boats out of Venezuela? I don't remember her talking
the
about
only one
that.
I've heard talk about that is Thomas Massey.
Yeah. And these are not even military targets. These are just people fishing, blowing them away. They're nothing to say about.
Yeah, bragging about ending USAID and NPR. I don't see how that's America first.
USAID hurts people who look like her.
It hurts people. Right?
Man, what is she talking about?
That hurt farmers. Like farmers are already like, okay, Trump's tariffs, and it's like, yo, we sell this excess soybeans and other crops to USAID.
It doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. I'm just really shocked that I am even hearing this. But let's keep going.
Things because they are meaningless and empty traps that hold too many people in Washington. I believe in term limits and do not think Congress should be a lifelong career or an assisted living facility. My only goal and desire has ever been to hold the Republican Party accountable for the promises it makes to the American people and put America first. And I have fought against Democrats' damaging policies like the Green New Deal, wide open, deadly, unsafe border policies, and the trans agenda on children and against women. With that has brought years of nonstop, never-ending personal attacks, death threats, lawfare, ridiculous slander and lies about me that most people could never withstand even for a single day. It has been unfair and wrong, not only to me, but especially to my family, but it's been wrong to my district as well. I have too much self-respect and dignity. I love my family way too much, and I do not want my sweet district to have to endure a hurtful and hateful primary against me by the president that we all fought for, only to fight and win my election while Republicans will likely lose the midterms, and in turn be expected to defend the president against impeachment after he hatefully dumped tens of millions of dollars against me and tried to destroy me. It's all so absurd and completely unserious. I refuse to be a battered wife, hoping it all goes away and gets better. If I am cast aside by the president and the MAGA political machine and replaced by neocons, big pharma, big tech, military-industrial war complex, foreign leaders, and the elite donor class that can never, ever relate to real Americans, then many common Americans
But you took their money.
have been cast aside and replaced as well. There is no plan to save the world or a 4D chess game being played. When common American people realize and understand that the political industrial complex of both parties is ripping this country apart, that not one elected leader like me is able to stop Washington's machine from gradually destroying our country, and instead the reality is that they, common Americans, the people, possess the real power over Washington, then I'll be here by their side to rebuild it. Until then, I'm going back to the people that I love, to live my life to the fullest as I always have, and I look forward to a new path ahead. I'll be resigning from office with my last day being January 5th, 2026, and I look forward to seeing many of you again sometime in the future. May God bless you all, and may God bless.
Okay, she's talking about the high price of health care in Georgia. They have the Affordable Care Act in Georgia.
So they didn't accept the Medicaid expansion.
Oh,
And then what they've done is they've come up
don't
with
they have
like
that?
some.
No, they don't have it. They
No,
don't
they
have it.
didn't expand it. Only a few southern
Oh,
states did. I think Tennessee and Kentucky are like the main ones that did.
so what's she talking about? The high price of insurance? Like you could have
Oh,
got
she's talking
federal
about
money, so that way
she's
you
talking about the
wouldn't have got that.
subsidies. She's talking about the subsidies
Okay.
that are going to expire and what's been happening. Like people like Warnock have been posting for people who get Obamacare through the federal government. They've been posting basically the premiums, and it's like going up 3x for some people. So you have people who are paying like $600 a month, going up to like 2,000, 3,000.
Yeah,
I
and
mean,
some
me
are
as a
starting.
military veteran, like I don't, they wouldn't even let me. I like when it first started, I was paying for the Affordable Care Act for 2 years, and I had somebody at the VA point out to me that you shouldn't have paid that money for that, and it took me a while to get my money back from that. But they knew that I was a military veteran, and they just signed me up for the shit anyway. Just to show you how corrupt these people are. But her statement is just BS on top of BS on top of BS. Like, you know that your party had fought for the actual Citizens United to give those people control of the actual political conversation. So I don't understand what she's even talking about here. It's crazy.
No, she's giving herself. She's making some distance here. She's looking to make some different moves. She's backing out of what these guys are are into currently. However she's seeing things, she's not seeing this thing working out very well for kind of these mainstream Republicans down the line right now, when she's shifting she's shifting gears and shifting horses. And that's what Trump and these guys are mad about. That's why he's calling her a traitor and wants her out, and threatening her life and all. And this is getting pretty serious.
But Nicole, it's both sides. What are you talking about? Both sides of this. Mike, any comments?
No, I think you covered it.
Renaissance.
Yeah. Nah, I think we're good. You want to go to the Pharrell clip, speaking of both sides?
Yep. Yeah. Because both sides is just for people who are just entertainers, who don't care about progress. And let's just let him speak about it. Because, both sides,
As we look at what's going on in the current political climate, I'm just saying I want to turn everybody off. I hate politics, like despise them. It's a magic trick that it's not real. I don't believe in either side, because I think when you pick a side, you are only, you are inadvertently supporting division. Yeah, it's not a popular point of view, but I just gotta say, think about it. The wells are drying up, and now the diversity's off the table, now equity's off the table, now inclusion's off the table. So that makes me ask my.
What side is taking all that off the table, sir?
So how do we survive? Well, are there black people here tonight? Yeah. And in your heart, do you think for what it is that you do and who you are, do you think you're the best? Okay, so do you want the job because you're black or because you're the best? Do you want someone to support your startup because you're black or because you're the best? Right, so I think now for me it's about us having the best ambition. That's the reason why you should support these businesses. Yes, they happen to be black and brown, but it should be based on the thesis that we're the best, not because we are a total shade of a skin color. That's a point of view that I have now that I'm resting on. And if diversity, equity, and inclusion ever comes back in style, cool. But in the meantime, I'm going to focus on being the best because I can bank on that. Because that's what's going to get you the position. Where, I don't want you to give me anything. I want you to panic and not let me out the room because I'm the best. As we look at
these type of people, man.
But bear in mind, this was at the
no, go
Black.
Ahead.
Yeah, this was he was speaking at the Black Ambition conference in Miami about this.
Yeah.
About DEI.
If it comes back, cool. Otherwise, in the meantime.
Yeah. This is where Republicans, unfortunately, have kind of won the culture war on DEI because they keep making it think if you have DEI, that means you don't have merit and you aren't promoting the best. And it's the exact opposite. It's hey, the best people were not being promoted, so we had to go and put something in place because it was not meritocratic. So we had to make sure that you actually had a diverse interview pool and you weren't just going and picking some random white guy to go in and get this position. You had to make sure that you were actually trying to inform and recruit people into these spaces and into these positions, because if it was just left to just the best will come there, somehow for some weird reason the best were not getting in, or people who had talent were being looked over, and that's what this guy seems to be missing. He seems to be thinking that people were just getting by they DEI got him in, they weren't the best.
What? Nicole.
Nah, man. I have to say, just looking at this, I'm totally agreeing overall with with what RM has to say, and just listen. I mean, this, Pharrell. I'm sorry, Moti. I can't take these Negroes. I can't take these. I can't take these Negroes seriously, brother. I don't look at them that way. I don't see them as being, really critical, as far as on this thinking process. They're just looking for their next deal, and these guys are just out here kind of riding on that. And I'm sorry, MOT. I don't have a lot to say with guys like Pharrell. This is I think it's kind of ridiculous. Sorry.
The wild thing is too, he contradicted himself because he literally said in the beginning that both sides were the same. He didn't like politics.
Exactly.
But like, wait, so DEI went away under one side, but it didn't go away on the other side. And then you were saying it may come back, assuming under the other side, but then both sides are the same.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just, he's once again, he's trying not to take a side, play both ways, and see where he see where he can benefit out of this the most. What's this guy even doing there? Sorry, man. I'm that's all I have to say about that. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Wow. Mike.
Yeah, it sounds to me like he's creating a safe harbor statement, so that the administration doesn't come after him and try to sue him for all of the, opportunities he was giving to Black people a couple of years ago. So, he could be trying to protect himself. I think that, the whole, I don't believe in taking a side. These sort of Negroes are everywhere now. You can't go to one YouTube channel, TikTok, wherever the social media platform may be, where these sort of people have their head raised above the ground like a groundhog, looking to absolve themselves from any sort of political affiliation, party affiliation for that matter. And so all those people last year, who said, I don't believe in taking a side, but I have everything to say about Democrats. I have nothing to say about Republicans. All these people are the same, regardless of what their age range is. They all play the same sort of card. In their 3-card Monty, it's all the same card. So it doesn't surprise me that he would say something like this, because he's just trying to avoid having to deal with the administration, because he's not like Ben and Jerry's. He's not like Costco, who doubled down on DEI. They had no problem doing it. This is a guy who has a lot more wealth than probably everybody in that room, but has the audacity to try to absolve himself from any sort of affiliation with equity initiatives.
Utterly ridiculous. Utterly ridiculous. Wow.
Crazy.
Wow.
I mean, but this is where we at with these type of people, though. Like, listen, it's either you're for some type of progress or you're not. Okay? It's not hard. Like, making progress is not hard. So how much of this Mandami speech that we are Trump thing that we're going to play here? Because I'm not going to play all 30 minutes. RM.
What's up?
How much of this Trump and Mandami thing that we're going to actually
play? I can go and see if I don't know if you want to start, or if we want to just play a little bit of it, or if we want to try to go find some clips specifically.
Yeah, well, what I'll do is I'll start playing some of it. I'm not going to play all of it because there's no real, need to. But I don't know why Trump would even, okay, he's the mayor of New York City. Why would you invite him to the White House so that way you guys can be friends and you announce to the world that he's going to be an okay mayor for New York City? That means that's a loss for you, period.
Well, all New York City mayors go and visit the White House.
No, they do, but his party was talking a lot of crazy stuff about this dude. So to say that he's an okay guy after all that's over with is kind of counterproductive. I understand he's going to go there and ask for things, but he was talking about how he was going to shut things down, how he was going to stop or make things hard for people in New York. Then he invited him to the White House, and now everything is buddy now. And it's like, okay, so how long is this going to last?
And MOT, remember, he also said, well, we're going to have to look at Mandami and see if he is a real citizen. What's his citizen piece all about? And, might we have to look at maybe deporting this guy at some level or whatever? He was talking some real slick stuff. So, to have now him go in there and have, the president kind of eating out of his hand and looking at the MAGA base,
That's what I'm
looking at
saying. It doesn't make any sense.
these folks, these folks' heads are spinning, man. They got their heads spinning, man.
Well, it makes sense if you're Trump and you want the level of attention that you can command, this newly elected mayor to come see me, because he didn't go see Mamdani. So
No.
he's in control of the attention span of everyone on this. So he kind of wins either way. You look at it now. Mamdani called him a fascist, and when he was asked by the press, does he stand by that statement? Mamdani kind of backed down on that. So Mamdani
well, hold on a second, Mike. He didn't really back down on it. In fact, the president jumped in and said, "You don't need to answer. I've been called worse. Let me cover you on that." He actually covered Mamdani on that piece. Mamdani didn't back away and say, "No, I back away from that." He didn't. In fact, the president covered him on it. That's why I say Mamdani actually kind of took the high road and said, "I'm going there to talk with the president. Let's go to the White House," where we saw when somebody like what's his name from Ukraine came over there, and these guys and he and his man
Zelensky.
Zelensky. They jumped his ass, and all of a sudden,
he got manosphere panel jump, man.
Yeah, he got panel jump, but this time he goes in here, and Mamdani kind of almost brought him to the field where he was in the field of battle. If you were using the White House as his platform, which I thought was actually rather brilliant, and hey, what I saw was really, Trump saying this man's got game. I gotta respect his game. So he was looking at he's looking at a pretty adroit politician, I think, and I think Mamdani certainly did a lot more to kind of raise his calculus as opposed to Trump in many respects, where now you've got people in the Trump base looking at him sideways.
Yeah,
looking at who sideways?
Trump.
Yes, a lot of people are. Believe it or not, in right-wing circles, they did not like seeing him stand up there. They did not like Trump saying that he was going to be a good mayor. They hated hearing that.
They would
right-wing circle. Oh yeah, they did not like that. But
they would
Mike,
tight.
Mike, you want to continue your thoughts on it, or you're done?
No, there's not much really to cover here.
All right. So for me, my personal Empress Sports 94, thank you for the 199 super chat. My opinion is any person that can run and beat an establishment Democrat out of Cuomo and not let a billionaire grocery store chain manager get in there, as in the other guy who was running for the independent or whatever he was, or whatever party, Republican Party that he was trying to do. He won against those two people. I have a lot of hope for the actual New York. And it's a good thing. This guy didn't come in with a crazy amount of money. He did the retail politician thing. As Nagone said, he walked from one end of New York to another. He talked to actual real people. He focused on real issues. And that's what he won off of. Real issues. Those people were trying to talk crazy in the debate. It fell flat. The moderators was talking crazy to him in the debate. Kind of fell flat too. But at the end of the day, he won. He won because he was focused on real issues. And that is a win for everybody. When somebody focus on real issues and actually win. Like, I don't listen to the actual, oh, he's a socialist, oh, he's this. No. They just don't like the fact that there's a chance that equal protection under the law come into play here. And that's what people do not like for some reason. But I think it's a good idea that he won.
Yeah, it's it's going to be interesting for the city. I think he'll do a decent job. He's going to have to really work with others. He's going to have to work with the governor, state legislature, and so forth. They can levy taxes and get some of the things done that he wants to do without having to so much grab the federal government and get so much out of them. And Trump knows that. So, the name of the game is okay, if this guy's going to be successful, don't make me look so bad while he's doing it. Let me act like I'm helping him, and so I can maybe bring some others into my view. Both of these guys have very strong political instincts. They're good. Trump, regardless whether I dislike him or not, from a standpoint of political instincts, he's very good. And so is this Mamdani. So he's showing a lot of skill here. So this is going to be quite interesting. And can that help him aid and abet what he's going to do as mayor in the city? It's possible. Trump is also very well known to, go back on his word and so forth. So I'm sure Mamdani's aware about that, but yet shore up the stuff he's going to need with the state. And it seems like, kind of seems like the governor may side with him on that, because they're already talking about raising some corporate taxes and so forth, in which to be able to help to do this. Now, it's not always popular for a governor to go into a re-election and talk about raising taxes on especially on the corporate class. So that's a whole nother issue that they're going to have to face and kind of deal with. So, it's going to be a tightrope. It's going to be a tightrope. So let's see how that goes. But so far so good for the mayor of New York City, or the mayor-elect. He's doing pretty all right so far.
All right, so let's go to the next thing, the actual video of the senators and others telling actual United States troops to not to obey illegal orders, which is somehow controversial, even though it's in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, and you're taught that like day number one while being in the military. So let's actually listen to the actual video that actually had people up in arms.
I'm Senator Alyssa Slotkin.
I'm Congressman Chris Deluzio.
Senator Mark Kelly.
Congresswoman Chrissy Houlihan.
Congressman Pat Ryan.
I'm Senator Ruben Gallego.
Congressman Jason Crow.
Congresswoman Maggie Goodlander.
And I'm former Air Force.
Army combat veteran. Navy pilot and test pilot.
U.S. Navy officer.
Former Army Ranger.
Intelligence officer.
I'm a Marine combat veteran.
Former CIA officer who did 3 tours in Iraq alongside the military.
The military is something that's near and dear to our hearts.
Each one of us, we swore an oath to this Constitution.
To the Constitution. To the Constitution.
We are all watching what President Trump is doing with the uniformed military.
Using it to police American streets.
Trying to incite violence as a justification just for more control.
We've seen this authoritarian playbook before in too many other countries.
And as people who have served, we think it's important that we say something.
Say something.
Say something. To speak out.
That's why today
we are calling on those who have served to again step up for the country we all love.
For each and every freedom-loving American.
On October 18th,
there will be a No Kings rally around the country,
with events happening in nearly every community.
You may be sitting at home quietly,
concerned, angry
about the direction of our country.
So let's exercise our freedoms and make clear that this is out of a deep sense of patriotism,
love of country,
and collective desire to make our country better.
Now is the time to make your voice heard.
Let's do what we do best.
Let's wear the red, white, and blue. Let's wave the flag.
Do it peacefully and non-violently.
If you're a concerned veteran,
or just a patriotic American,
we need you to show up at this rally and march.
For the America we all love.
Sign up at nokings.org, because this is our country and we need to fight for it.
Because America.
Because America.
Because America.
Because America has no king.
Okay. So, what these people are actually talking about, and we need to go over this again, and this was something that was pretty understood, unless for actual drastic things. This is the Posse Comitatus Act of 1878. Is a federal law that restricts the use of the military personnel for domestic law enforcement purposes, essentially prohibiting the use of the Army, Air Force, Space Force as a civilian police force. The law was enacted in response to an extensive use of the Army during the Civil War and Reconstruction, and prohibits the military from executing law unless explicitly authorized by the Constitution or an act of Congress. Important exceptions exist, such as the Insurrection Act. which would overturn their actual ability to do that. And this is something that Trump is actually playing with a lot, of saying that he's just going to invoke the Insurrection Act, which means if you actually invoke the Insurrection Act, you're actually going to take your ass back to court and you're actually going to justify it. Just like he couldn't justify having those people from the National Guard on the streets in Portland or actual Chicago. He's going to have to go to court to actually do that too. So he doesn't even respect the Constitution. He doesn't respect the military. And he wanted these people locked up for treason and executed. These former military members that are actually telling them about something that's already written in military law already. Your thoughts, Nagone?
You know this is crazy, and what he's doing is illegal. We know this. All right. I mean, and what you just read, that's exactly what this is. Judges have already put injunctions on doing this. Is he going to continue to press this? Is he going to continue to press this to what end?
Mike, you got any comments on this video?
No comments from me.
Oh, Renaissance.
Yeah, no, this once again, this Trump's responses was, hey, these people are committing sedition. And he wanted them tried, and he said executed, I believe. So, he then had to have the press secretary kind of walk it back, clean that up. But that shows you where this guy's mind is that, hey, he feels like he is not to be questioned. There's obviously something that they've been trying to put in place. They fired lots of JAG officers out of the military. They were saying because they thought, hey, these are the people who are going to give direction of whether, if they give an order, whether it's illegal or illegal or not, as well as obviously they've replaced some brass in the military. Now we'll see if that's enough to really go and have these people follow him, because for all intents and purposes, it does seem like MAGA is somewhat cracking with these Epstein files, as well as healthcare in the last election, and it looks like Trump is starting to lose some of his grip to a certain extent. Obviously, like I said, they've tried to put loyalists in place, but I think he has lost even some of the military with that whole speech that they flew everyone in, him and Hegseth in for. So, people being proactive, they clearly, being ex-military, feel that something is up or something is of concern to make this video in the first place. So we'll have to keep our eyes out.
And you have to look at, I know people are saying the legal aspect, he's just walking past the law and all, but how long can you really continue to do this without really bringing up a lot of issues? And you have to deal with the military as well, because the military's job is not to do that. The military is not a police force. How many people are going to continue to really go with this? And then you've got judges putting injunctions on this guy. I mean, you just have to really look at where this is really, what road you're heading down with this. And I don't think this is going to work within the administration's best interest.
Me neither. I mean, because everything you're going to have to challenge to the actual courts. And that's this Epstein thing come out. I think the Supreme Court's just not going to have the actual viability to keep rubber stamping things for actual Trump. I think they're going to actually start rebutting a lot of the stuff the moment his political power is going to start to wane. And that's going to enrage him, and he's just going to run over the actual judiciary and just do whatever he wants to after that. So, well, that's all we have on this actual live stream. So you got any final words, Mike?
Hey, thanks for having me on.
All right, no problem. Nagone?
Hey, MOT, once again, thanks for having me up, brother.
Renaissance man.
Nope, thanks for having me up.
Thank you for organizing that stuff in the actual back chat too. Made it real smooth for us to actually go through. So I want to thank you guys for coming through. You have to understand that we do this show every Sunday, where we talk about the political things that are actually going on in the actual government. It is vitally important that somebody covers these actual things, because everybody seems to want to paper over what we're actually here for with gender war content. That is not why we're here. And our actual content is not a substitution for you actually getting involved in your actual local government yourself. There is nothing, because I live in Denver, Mike's in Mass, and McGowan's in New York, and Rand's in, where you at, DC? Yeah, he's in DC. So there's nothing that we're going to be able to do in our areas that is going to splash off and help you in your area. You have to be involved in this political process. The actual damages that could be done is actually going to happen to you, whether you be responsible for it or not. I'd rather be responsible for it, have a say in it, so that way I won't be left behind. But at the end of the day, a lot of these people are going to choose to not be involved. And you should not be trying to catch people up on American history. You can develop a need to actually be involved with what's going on. If you can keep up with sports, you can keep up with this. You can set up a Google search for this, and it can feed you all the information that happens every single week. That's what most people do. So with that said, I want to thank you people for coming through. Thank you for liking the video. And you guys have a really nice rest of y'all night. Please stay involved with the process. Have a nice day.